Good evening and welcome in. Going live on a Thursday evening at just after 6 o'clock. I'd buried my phone under a pile of paper and couldn't find it, but we're all good now. We're plugged in and we're good to go to come and do some playing. I've done a little bit of preparation, got a few things wandering round in my mind as to what we could play with this evening. But welcome, lovely to have you join me. If you come on live, do come on in and say hello. Let me know where you're from, what sort of a day you've had, what you've been making today. It's always good to hear what other people have been up to. But we're going to be playing with some poppies. Now on Monday we came in and we created a card. We cased a card from the catalogue and from this mini catalogue. It was this little card here, and somewhere if I stretch over I have our version that we created on Monday morning, so a bit of watercolouring. Because we're actually concentrating on the Painted Poppies bundle. So although there are two bundles in this gorgeous suite of products, because they are so beautiful and so extensive and there's so much that you can do with them, I felt as if it wasn't quite fair to the suite to try and cover it all in 1 week. So I thought we would concentrate on the Painted Poppies this week, and we'll do the Peaceful Moments bundle another week, but we shall be using quite a bit of the papers today. There's this stunning collection of papers that go with this suite. You've got these beautiful big prints, would be fabulous for scrapbooking, but equally would make really easy cards. You could just chop that up into panels. You've got big flowers and spots and like a watercolour wash background there, watercolour poppies, stripes, blackberry bliss poppies, great big watercolour poppies, this beautiful paper here, this sort of pool party with the red poppies on and other flowers and things. So absolutely stunning papers. As I say, we are going to be having a dip into those today, but just a really beautiful suite. I mean, it's all over the front of the catalogue. If I could find the front page, you know, it's sort of like the highlighted suite in this mini catalogue, and for good reason. It is really stunning. Just turning my sound off on my phone so it doesn't keep pinging at us. Yep, and there's some on the background in the back there as well that have been, they look like they've had pigment sprinkles on those ones, but yes, so really beautiful. So the poppies are gorgeous. But before we started on the poppies, I just wanted to do a couple of things. One was remind you about Sale-a-Bration. Any orders that you put in during January, February and March, do, if they come to £45 or more, do entitle you to a free item. So these are all money can't buy items. You've got the meerkats, the lilies. There's Lily stamp set that you can get free with the £45 purchase. There's the dies that you can get free with a £90 purchase. There's the gorgeous papers that also combine with that suite that you can get with the £45 purchase. And I think it's next week that we're going to be looking at those. This really lovely metallic baker's twine and sequins. It's stunning, and mine arrived yesterday and I've been using it today. It is really lovely. This lovely big cake, happy birthday to you. This kerchief card kit, again, I've had mine arrive this week, so I've not really looked at it yet, but I'll share that with you when I do. These fabulous black and gold foiled bee papers that go with the coordinate with the honeybee bundle from the mini catalogue. Another thing that's arrived this week that I shall be playing with. The Sending You Thoughts, that's a really nice greeting stamp set. You've got this beautiful stamp set here with all these little flowers. Then for a £90 order you can have the little bloom punch, the small bloom punch, which is one of those really fabulously useful punches, and I used that on a card for a challenge this week. I love this bundle. This again is a £90 bundle, but it's a stunning Japanese stamp set, Japanese sort of theme stamp set, but it's got this 3D stone effect embossing folder with it. And then this lovely, the ladybirds, the gorgeous ladybugs on the back page. This is something that they've done new this year that they've not done before. This is a free host set. So if you host an event and your event generates income of £275, you will automatically get this for free. Or should you wish to put in an order for £275, you will get that for free. And then, as always in Sale-a-Bration, there's always a fabulous joining offer in Sale-a-Bration. So you pay your £99 for your starter kit, and with your £99 you automatically choose £130 worth of free product, well, £130 worth of product of your choice from any current catalogues or publications, or if you anything on the website. Hi Roz. You also during Sale-a-Bration get this fabulous little mini trimmer that I am finding incredibly useful. It's fabulous for just sort of trimming up bits of card and all of those sorts of things. You also get this pack of 6x6 double-sided papers that features some of the patterns from the mini catalogue and some from the Sale-a-Bration. So a really useful and sort of wide-ranging pack of 6x6 papers. There's plenty in there to keep you going for all sorts of projects. So you get that pack of 48 double-sided 6x6 sheets, and an equivalent pack in your catalogue would be worth £10.75 here in the UK. Those packs normally are. So you've got your mini trimmer, you've got your pack of paper, plus you then get a stamp set of your choice, any stamp set that you want from any, either the annual catalogue or this mini catalogue. And I did do a blog post, I think last week, sometime beginning last week, week before, where I listed the top 10 most expensive stamp sets, because obviously you want to get the highest value stamp set that's on your wish list if you wanted to join me, part of my team, and as a member of the Stamping Up family. So do always bear that in mind. If you have a big list of things that you want, then this is by far the biggest bargain. So I just wanted to remind you about Sale-a-Bration, because we mustn't forget, because it is of course the biggest promotion of Stamping Up's year. And next month, hi Linda, so next month in February, they are going to be releasing some coordination products. Now they did this last year, so if you're a demonstrator, so if you sign up today, you're already going to be able to order these, but as of I think it's the 4th of February, customers are going to be able to order these coordination products. So they are made to coordinate with things that are either in the Sale-a-Bration catalogue or in the mini catalogue. And we do know that a couple of these things are going to be carrying over. So let's see if I can find the things in this catalogue that they coordinate with. So this first one, the Nature's Thoughts dies. See that really pretty card just there? And you've got this set of dies and stitched rectangle there by the look of it. Lots of lovely things. Actually coordinates with this stunning stamp set just here. And this is one of these stamp sets that you can really play with and really create some beautiful things. Look at that box, it's gorgeous. So those dies are going to be available from the 4th of February, and they will coordinate with that stamp set in the mini catalogue. You've also got these dies just here that are going to coordinate with this some special someone stamp set, and we're going to be playing with this a bit on Saturday at my Saturday Stampers class, when we're going to be doing cute cards. I know, in fact I ought to have, I haven't brought my DSP in, and I should have brought it in. I know, Roz, it's beautiful, isn't it? They are doing a set of dies to coordinate with the ladybug. So if you have an event, or you put in a big order and you get your ladybug, you are going to be able to get some dies to go with that. There is this beautiful die here, the Sending Flowers dies. Now I have Mine has arrived, but I've not yet had a chance to play with it, but you can see it sort of creates this sort of circular cutout of all these lovely flowers that have been done in different colours, coloured in different colours. Really beautiful. So I'm looking forward to playing with that one. There's a set of dies that's going to coordinate with that lovely cake that's in the Sale-a-Bration set, and this is the paper that Roz has been talking about, and in actual fact I am going to fetch it. So somebody sing and I'll be back in a minute. Right, whoever was singing for us can stop now. Yes, this paper is the other thing that's going to be available from the 4th of February as part of that coordinations range, and it is beautiful. Now, it has been created to coordinate with the punches, so punches that are either in Sale-a-Bration or which are in that mini catalogue. So this first one obviously coordinates with the umbrella punch. So you've got this light shining on there, you've got the big umbrella, you've got the closed up umbrella, and you've got the handle. And if you have a look, the handles are separate on this paper. So you are going to be able to punch out the handle, punch out a big umbrella, punch out a closed umbrella. Really gorgeous, and they're such lovely colours. So that's the umbrellas. Look at that raindrop on the back there. Isn't it lovely? I love that paper. So I think there's 3 of each. There's 1, 2, 3. So this one is going to coordinate with the heart punches. And I've got those packed here in a box somewhere, ready for a class. So you've got the heart punches come as a pair. So you've got, there we are, rather than glaring light, you've got stripy top. So this one is just a plain heart, this one is a scalloped heart, but they do fit on top of each other. So, you know, you can sit this heart on top of there and get the scallops around the edge, so you can layer them up. So that's a really lovely duo of hearts. And this heart punch is going to punch out these lovely flowers here, and they've got sort of flowers and spots on them, so they're really lovely. So that's fabulous. And then on the back of that is like a largish gingham, but a really lovely well, it's petal pink, so we make lovely baby cards. This one obviously goes with that little small bloom punch that is in the Sale-a-Bration, that you can have as a free Sale-a-Bration item. So that's that one. And that's obviously going to punch out all these little flowers, but isn't that a pretty flat paper, even if you don't punch out the flowers? And look what's on the back. Isn't that just stunning? Those stripes are lovely. And then last but not least, we have the tulips. And again, you've got the, there's the tulip punch. And you've got your tulip and you've got your leaf. And on the paper, you've got your tulip and you've got your leaf. So it is gorgeous paper, and then just like a green stripe on the back of there. So yeah, so you get 3 of each sheet, and they coordinate, as I say, with those punches. But actually a lot of those, if you haven't got the punches, there would be really easy to cut those tulips and things out. And the hearts would be easy. And even the umbrellas wouldn't be massively difficult to cut out. So yeah, that's a really, so that is the final item in this coordination, is the papers, and they call it Pleased as Punch because it coordinates with those beautiful punches that we've got in the main catalogue. So that, as I say, is something to look forward to. That is coming at the beginning of February the 4th. But let's flick back to our Painted Poppies. Have a quick slurp of my tea. So we've got the Painted Poppies stamp set, and we've got the coordinating dies, and we're going to be using both of those this evening. The other things that are in this suite, obviously you've got the second bundle in the suite, you've got the fabulous papers, you've got these gorgeous sequins, which are just beautiful. So then there's the little flower shaped ones in there as well. You've got your Whisper White seam binding, which we used on Monday, and you can take out your blender pens and colour it any colour you like. So there's the white seam binding. There it is in what was that, Flirty Flamingo and Rich Raspberry, if I remember right. So that's really lovely. And you've also got this pack of elements that I showed you on Monday that are also fabulous, with some are watercolour card, some are card stocks that you can just pop out and put onto cards. You've got this black embossed elements, the watercolour embossed elements, and the vellum embossed elements. So lots of loveliness in that pack. So lots and lots of loveliness in this suite. But let's get started making a card, otherwise it'll be dinner time and time to go off and get on with the next job before we've even started. Now the card we're going to make today, I actually, you know, as you're training through Facebooks and various things, you get videos and things pop up, and I had a video pop up from Mixed Up Craft. So I don't know if you've ever checked out her YouTube videos, but she does some really nice sort of 3D cards, pop-up cards, all those sorts of things, and tends to have really nice easy instructions. So I do sort of check out some of the things that she's doing quite often, and occasionally I will use her cards and things and Stampin' Upify them, if there is such a word, because she's not a Stampin' Up demonstrator, although my suspicion is, although I don't know for sure, that I think she has been in the past, and she does occasionally use Stampin' Up stamps and things. But this card that she made was called an Easy Panel Fold card, and it used a lot of DSP. It was showcasing beautifully a pack of paper that she got. It wasn't Stampin' Up paper, but she had a pack of paper, and this card showcased it beautifully. So I thought that would be a really nice idea to be able to showcase some of our beautiful card. So what I have done is I have already started cutting paper and die cutting elements to go with this card. So sorry while I'm rattling around, I've just got a little bit off the top there that seems to have gone missing, but we'll no doubt find that in a minute, and if not, well, then we'll cut another one out. Won't be the end of the world. So when she made her card, she used a piece of 12" by 5" card. So she obviously took a 12 by 12 piece of card and cut it so that it was measured 12 by 5. Now we haven't got any, I wanted to do black, and we don't have any black 12 by 12 card. So I decided that I would just tweak the measurements a bit, and so this is made out of a piece of UK A4 card. So that means that it is slightly smaller than the card she made, but not by much, by about 1/4 inch. So whereas hers measured 5 by 7 inches, mine measures 4 3/4 by 7 inches. So it will still fit in an envelope beautifully without being too much of a problem. So I thought that we would go with that. So you've got your piece of A4 card, and it's measuring the full length of your A4 card and 5 inches deep. Now obviously if you are using US card, you might need to tweak this a little bit again. It may be that it's smaller still, but I just went with the measurements that she made for the front folds and just sort of took a bit of a hit on the length of the back piece. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your piece of card in your trimmer or in your scoring board, whichever is easiest, and you're going to do the first score mark at 3.5 inches. So at 3.5 inches you're going to score, and then you're going to flip the card over completely. So it's gone from that way and flipping it completely that way, and then you're going to score it at 1.5 and at 7 inches. So obviously I haven't got my it out. And the reason that you flip it is obviously when you're folding cards, you want to go with the score. So you've just made a score line and you want to go with the sort of fold, with the bit that's sticking out is the bit that you sort of fold with. So you want to be able to go with the fold. So by flipping it over, you can then do your valley and mountain folds without sort of risking cracking your card, because you're fighting against the way that you've just scored it and it folds. So you've scored it and then you're going to fold it so that you end up with a card that looks like this. So we've got a mountain fold, a valley fold and a mountain fold. So you've got this zigzag effect on your card. Okay, so we're just going to fold that like that, and then we're going to add lots of paper to it, because this is like it's like a paper fest. So what I've got here is I've already cut some paper from the poppy pack. It's not called the poppy pack. I'm sure it has an official name, which isn't the poppy pack. It is the Peaceful Poppies Designer Series paper. There we are, that's its official title. So from the Peaceful Poppies Designer Series paper, I've already cut some panels. Now this back one here measures 4.5 by 6 3/4. Obviously, if you've had to wiggle your card sizes, then you know, yours might be a bit different. If you have got any black 12 by 12 card, then you'll find that this back panel will end up as 5 inches wide, so you would need this to be 4 3/4 rather than 4.5. But for us using A4 card, that's just to come down a smidge more, it is 4.5. It's just 1/4 inch smaller on each side than that base. So now I'm going to have taken another piece of paper, so you can see it's a similar print but much bigger poppies, and this one is measuring 3 1/4 by 6 3/4, and you need 2 panels this size. So I've done 2 different patterns, but I've got 2 panels that are this size. So I'm going to stick that one there like that. So as that opens up, it's not the same, but it is all sort of working in together. Now this one, I've chosen those really big poppies for this one, and this one measures 1 3/4 by 6 3/4. So obviously they're all 6 3/4 long, because the length of the card doesn't change, it's just the width of the panel. And then finally, this last little bit, I'm going to just have that red strip of that sort of red, well, it looks like it's been done with something like some pigment sprinkles or something, or watercoloured, or so we're going to add that on there. So those are the panels on there. So now we're going to do the panels on this side. So I've got another panel that measures 3 1/4 by 6 3/4. So as you can see, this one has got sort of slightly more hints of rich raspberry in it, slightly different colour, which is why I've taken this over to the front. But you've got your red on the back, and this is sort of like a bit of a mixture of both coming in there. Now we've got another panel that is 1 3/4, and this one is the spotty one. So this one is sort of Blackberry Bliss, but it sits quite nicely alongside this one here. And then last but not least, I've got another piece of that big poppy print. I felt that the other colours perhaps shouted, it would mean bringing in some pool party and things, and that perhaps shouted a little bit, whereas this one reflects quite nicely with that one and is the same paper as we've got in there. So there we have all of our panels decorated. Now you could use this as a little sort of journal almost. You could put photos on it or anything if you wanted to. But we're actually going to put a piece on the front, and then we are going to put some stamping and things on. Now I did cut, I had been very prepared and I had cut a piece to go on the top there, but it appears to have disappeared. So we will cut another one. That's fine, that's not the end of the world. We can cope with that. So we're going to take this twirly-whirly die from the labels die that goes along with this bundle, and that will just about fit nicely on there, and I'll cut this out and then we'll find the other one, because that's the way of the world, isn't it? So stick that on there, but it's not squashing it, hopefully. So that piece of black card is just about right for that. So this is the swirl that comes from this set, so let's cut that out. And there's some really lovely labels and things in here. You've got this this nice sort of border piece. You've got this sort of lacy little piece just in here that actually would fit in the middle of there if you wanted it to. And then you've got these labels here, and they do leave an embossed edge around the edge. They are really quite nice. They're really lovely. So who knows, we might come back to those at some point. Let's just move this big shot out of the way for a minute. Pop that die back on there, and then we'll just flick out any bits that are still sitting, that are still sort of locked in there. So I think that's all of them. Now I don't think you can see, but that centerpiece in here is stitched, so you get sort of like the swirly-whirly bit coming around the outside and a solid centered panel that's got a stitched outline. And I've actually also cut a piece of Poppy Parade from the largest of the stitch circles, so I thought that would sit quite nicely on the front of our card as a panel for the front. And then we'll have a little bit of a play and do some stamping and die cutting some poppies. So let's get a bit of Whisper White card. And let's find our Painted Poppies stamp set. Pop the lid on my glue for a minute. So I think what we will do is we will get out a block. I nearly dropped some blocks on my toe. That wouldn't be a good idea. I'm going to use some Stays-On, I think, because Stays-On is a slightly blacker black than Memento. So let's ink up our poppy. And we'll stamp that one. Clean that up in a minute, but then I'm going to take this smaller poppy, and as I'm not quite sure how many I'm going to want, I'm perhaps going to do 2 of these. And then we will take this background piece and we'll have some Poppy Parade ink. We'll ink this up and we will use that. Just deciding which way is the best way to go. Because we're getting a watercolour effect, it doesn't make... The sweet is beautiful, isn't it, Roz? Hi, Div. So, we've just stamped some colour onto that poppy. We're actually going to die cut these in a minute, so I'm not too worried if they if colour goes over the edge and things, because we can add, might come in and just add some splodges around this edge. Let's clean that up. I'm going to take that same splodge, and this time I'm going to take the rich raspberry. And we will stamp over these two poppies here, so that will give that some colour. Then before I get the big shot back out, I've got a piece of old olive card just here, and I'm going to take the little leaf stamp, and I think we'll go tone on tone. I think we'll take some old olive ink. Sorry if I'm wobbling you, I'm just checking comments and things. And let's just, I'm going to go with 3. I think you should always do things in 3s, shouldn't you? Even though we've only got 2 dies, that's fine. Right, let's bring back in our big shot. There is definitely only one plastic plate there, which means that somewhere we have another one. You do wonder, don't you, how these things can just disappear into thin air. I mean, we had it moments ago. Is it not stuck on the bottom? I've done that before now. No. Aha, I can see you. There you are. So we want our big flower. And one of the small flower for the small poppy. Cut this one out. And then if I just trim off this piece of card that's got these leaves on. We have got 2 leaf dies, so we'll be able to cut out 2 of these in one run through, and then go back and cut out our second small poppy and our 3rd leaf. Okay, is that looking good? I think so. I think we're good to go. So these background splodgy stamps gives you a wonderful sense of them being watercoloured without watercolouring. So 2 leaves, a large poppy and a small poppy. And let's pop one of the leaves down there because this time we just want one leaf and one small poppy. And there's a poppy. And there's our leaf. Yep, so we'll move those to one side. Get our big shot out the way. Bring these down. So we have our stitched circle, we have our large poppy, small poppies, and some leaves that we can somehow arrange on the front of that panel. So let's grab our glue and do that. So we'll glue some down and we'll have some lifted up with dimensionals. I think the first thing we'll do is we'll stick our swirly thing to our stitched circle. Then we'll stick this large poppy down flat on the background there. We'll stick this one down flat too. We'll have it underneath that poppy. And then this one we'll put some dimensionals on and raise it up. We'll have this little leaf coming out here. This one now, do I want this third leaf? Is the question. While I fiddle about and decide. I think at the moment I'm going to go with no, I don't. So that panel we're going to be able to stick to the front of this card. Remembering that we only need that sort of centre piece sticking down. We don't want any glue coming out either side. There obviously aren't any sentiments in the Painted Poppies stamp set. It is just flowers and backgrounds, but we do have some in Peaceful Moments. Oh, need to think about. So we have got space. We could put a panel in there. So let's have a look. panel just there. So if we go back to a piece of Poppy Parade, you can cut out that panel die. Let's grab our big shot again. Run that through. Let's just move my cup of tea. I already nearly knocked it flying once today with the big shot, not watching what I was doing. Now, can you see with this die, I don't know how well that's going to zoom in. So not only has it cut the outside, but you get like this sort of embossed piece. So it gives it a border, an embossed border. So it's a really lovely die. So we'll place that there and we'll grab this stamp that says, "These are the moments we'll look back on with joy." Grab a block. Ink that up. So we will pop that little frame just in here. Then I think we'll take dark Poppy Parade ink and put the lid when this stays on, because I don't want that to now what have we done? Here we are, and I'm going to take this Whisper White seam binding, and I'm just going to, with the brush end of the dark Poppy Parade blend, just going to colour this ribbon, and I want just long enough to create a bit of a bow. I think that will do. Take our snips. And if it is a little bit sort of variegated at places, that's okay. I think that adds to its charm. Let's take a glue dot. And we can find the end. Pick one of those glue dots up with that bow. What's happened to that glue dot? It's gone a bit. I think I'd caught it. The black card is so much more fibrous than any of the other cards, or appears to be. There's a little bit of a bow. I'm not sure that I like that bow just there. Let's no, I think I'm going to take that bow off. I may put something else on, but it's not going to be that bow. So there we are. So you've got that little card that's got all of that beautiful paper on, showcasing all of that beautiful paper and how it all coordinates together. So whether you've got the red or the purples, you've got poppies that coordinate with them on the front there. So a easy fold panel card. So thank you to Sam at Mixed Up Crafters for the idea for that one, and when I do the blog post later with these on, I will put a link in for her original video as well, because we need to give credit where credit is due. So there's a little poppy card. So really quickly, the other thing I wanted to do was last Friday I did a pigment sprinkles class, and it was great fun. So it's sort of reminded me of what good fun pigment sprinkles are. Now I'm going to take some of our watercolour card and I'm going to cut this sheet in half. So that's about 9 centimetres to cut one of those in half. And we'll have one as a background piece, and one we're going to stamp some poppies on. So let me just give these a bit of a wipe because they had stays on ink on. I don't get too precious if stamps do get a little bit stained. They're tools, not jewels. We'll get the worst of that off, and then I'm going to bring in some Thurs ink, and I think we'll have we're going to have the black embossing powder. I think we'll go dramatic. So we've got our watercolour card, and we have got our Thurs. We will stamp that big poppy. Then I think again we'll do a couple of small ones. That's quite a nice sort of, gives you quite a nice arrangement if you've got one big and two small. So let's sprinkle some embossing powder on that. We will do a leaf possibly in a minute, but we'll start with these. So I always decanter my embossing powder into a box, sprinkle it on with a spoon. Now I didn't go over that with an embossing buddy, did I? Which was a bit of a mistake. But let's just take a little paintbrush, get rid of some of those dibbly bits. Just pop the lid back on that a moment so that we don't end up with it all over the place. And let's heat it with our heat gun. the light with that to see if it's turned. The watercolour card is a bit thicker than standard card, so it will take slightly longer to heat up. Yep, I think that has all turned beautifully. So I'm now going to take a little paint tray and my box of pigment sprinkles, and I think we'll go with, I think we're going to go very different. I think we're going to go Mango Melody, and we shall probably want some green, and we'll have a bit of Bermuda Bay as well. So I'm just going to take the lid off of these and just tap a little bit in there. We might need a little bit more than that, we'll see. We'll do the same with this. Ooh, there's a lot in there now with the Mango Melody, and the same with this Granny Apple Green. Now the Granny Apple Green is always fascinating, because if you've not seen the pigment sprinkles before, that actually is the green powder, believe it or not. Now the one thing I didn't do was check water levels in my brush, but let's, if this is the brush that plays nicely or whether it's the one that doesn't. Every now and then I soak the ends of my water brushes in some white vinegar just to clear them out and get them runny again. So I've put some spots of water in each of those to activate the pigment sprinkles. You can now see that that one is green. We've got our Mango Melody and we've got our Bermuda Bay. So let's take our water brush and let's take our spritzer and let's spritz this bit of watercolour card. Now you can see where I've already had some pigment sprinkles have gone onto it, so that's okay. We'll wash those out. Let's pick up some of this Bermuda Bay and let's do a background wash. Obviously you can do this with inks and things, but with the pigment sprinkles, because they are such vibrant colours, it does tend, well, it gives you a more vibrant effect. The colour goes further. That one's going to have a little bit of yellow and things added into it, just because there was obviously some pigment sprinkles in the air lying around. They do go a long way. Right, let's just clean out this water brush. We'll leave that to dry a moment. Then we'll go in with this Mango Melody. And we're just going to paint our poppies. I'm using it as a paint. I could have just put down some water, just sprinkled the powders on it, seen what happened. In fact, I might do that with one of them. Let's do this 2 smaller poppies just by painting the pigment sprinkles on. But then the bigger poppy, I'm going to flood this with some water. So I'm just painting the poppy with water. And then we'll take our pigment sprinkles. I'm just going to tap them into that water, and you can see that as the sprinkles hit the water, they start activating and they're spreading out and mushing around. I'm going to leave that to do its own thing for a moment, and I'm going to reach over and I'm going to grab some of these vellum leaves. I'm going to turn them over to the side that isn't embossed. Pick up some of the green paint and just paint over the back. And again, I'll leave that a minute to do its own thing. Now, what I might do is just go into this now and just sort of give that a bit of a spread out. Take it to the edge of that poppy. But what you get by sprinkling the powder into the water is obviously you get far more sort of variegated colour. It's rather pretty, isn't it? I was watching another demonstrator, an Australian demonstrator earlier, and she said she had no idea that poppies came in different colours. And of course they do. I think Californian poppies are very sort of coloured, these sorts of colours, aren't they? But you can see the difference. So that one is sort of like quite a uniform colour. Obviously I could go in again and add in some darker highlights, but where we've just sprinkled that powder, it's obviously much darker. Now normally I would just leave these to dry themselves, but obviously we need to finish our card and to die cut them and things, so I will. Just got my heat gun to start with on the lower setting so we don't splatter painty water everywhere. Wrong way, I'm just going to turn it up. Right, that's feeling quite dry. Let's give these a bit of a blast just to see if they're dry. So with the leaves, you can see I painted them on the back, but when you turn them over, because they're embossed, that sort of embossed element really pops out. So there's the other one. They've curled up a little bit, but that's okay. Right, so that's still a bit wet as well, so let's give that a bit of a blast as well. will do. And then I'm going to take one of my favourite stamps from this set. I'm going to take the Big Blob, and I think I'm going to go with some, oh sorry, knocking you and making you wobble all over the place. I would normally use stays on, but I can't see my stays on because it's, oh yes I can, it's just here. Let's go with stays on just because this card is still a little bit damp, and stays on sort of is a bit happier with the idea of mixing with water. I'm just going to stamp a couple of those blobs on there. And let's take, that's our big die and our small die and our big shot. So the pigment sprinkles, they're just going to sit now in that paint tray. They will dry out a bit, but as soon as I add water to them again, they will be reactivated, so you don't have to waste anything. Obviously this watercolour card is a little bit bendy. Just wondering if they're going to cross over. I'm just going to take some low tack tape and I will anchor these down just because it is a bit bendy. I'm just going to put it onto my top and things, and so it's a little bit, picks up a bit of fluff. It's not quite so sticky. That's brilliant. They're not going to overlap, I don't think. You don't want your dies overlapping, because if they do, the one will cut into the other and risk doing it some harm. Let's do another little one. Right, so let's, I think we will put our two small poppies towards the back. And we'll put one there. And we'll have one in here, that way. And we'll put some dimensionals on the back of this gorgeous big poppy. Look how that's, the variation in that colour. Isn't that beautiful? Pigment sprinkles are really good fun. If you've not played with them, then you really should. And if you're living in the UK and you want to play with them and you'd like to be a part of my class, although the class went live last week, it is part of an sort of exclusive Facebook page, so there is no reason why you still couldn't be added into that page. I could get your kit out to you. Your kit includes all your pigment sprinkles and some watercolour card and some of these poppy elements. Right, so there's one of those vellum leaves tucked in there, and well, that one's probably got a little bit too much glue on it, but we'll tuck it in here. That's rather lovely, isn't it? No, it definitely doesn't want to be that colour. I'll have a little think about that. I think it perhaps wants something behind it before it's, well, either that or it wants to be a black matte onto possibly might be a white card, or black matte onto, oh, that might be quite nice, a black matte onto some Mango Melody card. But I will play with that some more, and then I will post the finished project up. But I'm very aware that we've been playing for quite a little while, so it's perhaps time to have a rest and to go and finish getting the dinner. So two very different cards. See, I'm still playing, even as I'm saying, I think perhaps we need to stop playing. I'm continuing to play. Yeah, a bit of black twine would be quite nice, wouldn't it, with that one? And perhaps some of the black sequins from in here, as there's some little black sequins in here as well. So I think I need to go and advance my dinner a little bit, because I've got people coming in to eat it before dashing out again at 7:30. So there's a couple of things I need to do to it before they can eat it. So I will go and do that. But I think a couple of black sequins on there will, that one's a little flowery one, will be quite nice. Just like that. What do you think? And perhaps find a greeting to go on it as well. But I will play with that, and I will then post the finished project. But that is looking rather lovely. So very different from our other card, which has now completely and utterly disappeared. I'm sure it can't completely and utterly have disappeared. It was a big card, wasn't it? But we had our card with all of our papers in it, highlighting all the different papers with that beautiful fold. Here it is. So very pink and purple. And to contrast completely with that, we've got our card that's we've played with using those pigment sprinkles, and so yellows and oranges and very vibrant. And then there was our card from Monday in Rich Raspberry and Flirty Flamingo. So three very different cards using the Painted Poppies bundle. It's a beautiful, beautiful bundle. If you would like to get your hands on it, don't forget that you will you can also earn your Sale-a-Bration items, and the Painted Poppies bundle on its own is, oh, I need to flick back the page. So the Painted Poppies bundle is actually £48.50, so you would be entitled to a free item with that from the Sale-a-Bration catalogue. Or you could actually buy the entire suite. You've got one number to buy the entire suite, which is £127.25. But if you want that entire suite, why not consider joining up as a demonstrator, because you can choose £130 worth of stuff. So you can have that entire suite plus something like some twine or something for £2.75. And that entire suite would be yours for £99, plus the mini trimmer, plus that 6x6 paper, plus a stamp set of your choice. So if this poppy suite is something that is making your heart flutter, then that certainly is worth considering. But thank you for joining me. So when I finish that card, after I've mashed some potato, I will post a picture of the completed item for you. But that was good fun. 2 very different cards, very different colourways, but using the same gorgeous bundle of products. So we'll be back on Monday to play with something different.